The place where we only talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm here to review Spider-Man No Way Home. Finally, with spoilers! I'm doing my first attempt at a live stream here on OBS on my Movie World channel. We just got Super Chats activated. It's happening. I think it's working. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for watching live. This channel is still growing, so if you haven't already hit that subscribe or you're just discovering, we are going to talk movies here more often. So please hit the bell for all alerts. Smash that like button, etc., so we can see you in the comments and see you here as videos come to you live. All right, look, spoiler warning. I'm going to talk Spider-Man. I don't even know if anyone's going to see me. This channel I know is still new and growing. I don't even know if people are going to be watching live, but I wanted to just do it live in case some of you did catch me and you give me your comments because, look, this is a celebration. Now that I can finally speak the truth and speak spoilers. I told you so! I told you so! Woo, 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 woo. I told you so. Look, I apologize for spoiling Andrew Garfield and Tobey effing Maguire. But yeah, they were in it. I told you so. I told you so. It was always the plan. Well, actually, the plan was Kraven the Hunter, I'm told, and then this. So I'm very proud of my source. Thank you so much to my source who stepped up and gave me that confirmation and filled me in. And yes, I guess I did break that and ruin that spoiler for you that they appeared. I stopped reporting as much because I wanted more people to forget about it. But look, even knowing that spoiler, which we broke exclusively, so I don't have my Go Planet here. Popcorn Planet is where we broke it. I'm going to try and break some more scoops here in the future. Even though we broke that scoop, the reality of this movie is this movie, for me, worked. And why so many people are calling it the best Spider-Man movie ever, because of those two gentlemen, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. They stepped up, they showed up, and that's really why I think people are calling this the best Spider-Man movie yet. But is it? Is it, guys? I understand we're all on a high. I'm not here to take away our excitement. To be honest, I had fun with this film. I saw it a second time. I liked it more the second time. I did turn my brain off more, and I was also able to enjoy it more because I saw it with a crowd. I bought a ticket, and I saw it one of the first showings in IMAX, and there's an energy to this film. There's an energy to this film, to those reveals that just made the film that much more fun. As a guy who likes big budget popcorn movies, I gotta say it was entertaining. It was fun to watch. Now, all that stuff, you can't take it away. I understand why people are raving about this movie. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the reveals. Seeing Tobey Maguire come back was the biggest reveal. In fact, I have audio. I've recorded my audience. I didn't film the movie. I filmed my audience, and I'm going to place that for you guys soon when I feel like I'm allowed to. Those reactions were insane in my theater. I don't know if they were insane in your theater, but holy moly, that's what movie experiences are about. That communal place where we can all just cheer and holler and go, woo! Oh my God, look, he's back! Oh my God, he's back! Now, the scene where they come back, it was weird. I was frustrated. It was all through Ned. I was like, really? Ned's going to bring them all in? But whatever. Seeing them there was great. And my other big surprise, I want to go right out the gate. I got to give props to Andrew Garfield. Holy crap. Andrew Garfield stepped up in this movie. I was never a fan of Andrew Garfield, of his Peter Parker, of Amazing Spider-Man. However, in this film, he really brought it. He was able to do, he acted it. He committed to that performance. He went back to his Peter Parker that I think a lot of people were making fun of or just weren't okay with. He committed to it. He made fun of it in a way. I feel like he was okay making fun of himself in this film. And then he stepped up and gave himself redemption, explained where he's been. I really got to give Andrew Garfield way more props than I've ever given him because I applaud him for understanding the assignment, for coming back, taking it seriously, giving us that emotional payoff where he catches Zendaya. The audience, we all were feeling it. Those moments were great. Tobey Maguire, I wish, had gotten a similar moment. His big moment is just sort of stepping up to help Tom Holland have his moment. But it sort of didn't matter. It didn't matter. Tobey was great to be seen. We love Tobey. But honestly, I got to say, Andrew Garfield was the surprise for me. Like, he earned so much more respect in this movie, especially on my second viewing, where I just, all his little ticks and things. That what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, his high top. Like, I didn't like that Peter Parker, but I really applaud him for coming, owning it, and like doubling down on it and being vulnerable with it. And it really did surprise me. It was like, somewhat he took the notes, but he didn't like. It wasn't like Electro, which to me was a little bit like, yeah, I'm not blue now. I'm better. Like nobody cares about Electro. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about Lizard. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about Flint and Sandman. Flint's kind of cool, but all those three villains were unnecessary. Just like, no, really? Really? We don't care about them. We care about Doc Ock. We care about Green Goblin. We're going to get to those in a second. But we care about, Andrew Garfield made me care again. And I didn't really care about him. So I was really incredibly impressed with Andrew because I wasn't a big fan. I'll be honest. I wasn't a big fan of Amazing Spider-Man movies. I'm going to have to revisit. And I think this was a very respectful way to bring him back, give him that sign of respect. And I saw it. I noticed it. I'd be remiss to not also call out Tom Holland. This is Tom Holland's best Spider-Man performance without a doubt. The dude finally got to show some range. He finally got to get become Spider-Man at the friggin' end. The Spider-Man I've been waiting. Real emotional moments in this film. I love Homecoming still probably as my favorite movie of his trilogy. I really am not a fan of Far From Home. I think it's really unnecessary and just a bunch of wasted beats, and Peter's just kind of dumb in it. This one, to me, is a bunch of really fun, exciting sequences, and just, oh my God, we finally brought these people together. Yes! Fine! Oh my God, look at them together! Like, all that distraction, to me, doesn't cover up some of the major issues this film has, which we'll talk about in a second. But let's stay positive. Positive first. Tom Holland really gave a fantastic performance. No doubt. I can't take it away from him. He really brought it in this movie. I could see the emotion. I was watching deeper on the second view. Those tears, everything he brought to the movie. I felt his pain, his struggle. With great power came great responsibility. And it was really well done, I got to say. When Andrew Garfield, also, I forgot, when Andrew Garfield said, like, oh, I stopped pulling my punches, and I became bitter and like, I was like, I want to see that movie now. I kind of want Amazing Spider-Man 3 where we get to see like aggressive Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker mourning that and like what's going to happen. And it kind of would have been cool. There was a missed opportunity, one of many missed opportunity when Peter Parker asked them both, have you fought any cool villains? I was really disappointed they didn't give us like a cool like tease. Like, why couldn't they have said, oh, yeah, well, I fought with the... Imagine if Toby was like, well, there was this one time I fought with the Fantastic Four and blah, blah, blah. Or like, oh, yeah, me and this guy Wolverine, is he part of the X-Men? When they're like, we worked with the Avengers. Like, are they the X-Men? There were so many things that they could have done to cleverly, like, give us that amazing Easter egg where we're like, wait, for the past 10 years, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was with the X-Men? What? Like, it would have been an insane, fun connection that I wish they would have given us a couple of those little Easter eggs, or like given us like a villain they had previously fought. There were things like that I just think they missed, that they weren't just... Anyway, aside from that, Tom Holland really brought it. Andrew Garfield brought it. Seeing Tobey Maguire back was insane. And that trio, those moments, really what make this film shine, and why I think everyone's just so high on this movie. We can't forget, we're talking spoilers. Charlie Cox showing up as Daredevil. It was a great moment. But again... And I was talking to my buddy, Eben. Nobody was concerned enough of like, how'd you stop that rock? I'm a really good lawyer. Okay, well, yeah, but are you a superhero too? Like, what's that mean? Explain that to me, please. There was a lot of points like that throughout the film where now I got to be a little critical. I want to be a little critical because I don't want to just be super fanboy who's like, it's the best movie ever, because it's not. It's not, guys. Sorry. It's a lot of fun. See it, thumbs up, but now we're talking spoilers. Now we're nerding out. So many characters in this film are dumb. They dumb down far too many characters, in my opinion. And I'm going to go through it. Happy Hogan was so dumbed down in this movie, and it kind of annoyed me, and especially in the first watch, because he's Tony Stark's guy. Like, he's Stark Industries. Rewatching Iron Man 3 when he's all up on what's his Aldrich Killigan. He's all over like trying to, he's on it. And he does his job well. He's like following people. He's slick and he's on top of it. In this movie, he's kind of a buffoon. Oh, poor Aunt May. And then he sees all these people coming in, and we'll get to this in a second. Sees all those people coming into his house where his loves are. And he's just like racing back. What's going on? They made Happy stupid. That was a disappointment to me. Especially at the end when he forgets it. We'll get there too. But Happy was stupid. I'm sorry, Tom Holland's character, again, they wrote this Peter Parker like he still has learned nothing until the very end. Until the very end, I feel like finally, hopefully he's going to learn and mature. And is this the sign we finally get that Peter Parker's learned not to be so stupid at times? These were murderers. These were murderers. And he's like, come on home to my secret base and be near my aunt. Like, what? I get the appeal. He's a good guy. He's trying to make everybody happy. He wants to do the right thing, and that's where things got caught up. With great power comes great responsibility. I get it. They tried their best. However, again, there were moments still where I felt like, come on. Hasn't he learned from No Way Home or Far From Home? He just brought all these people into his house? There were moments like that in the script that are hard to ignore, guys. And a lot of you guys are just don't care. You're like, I turned off my brain. Who cares? I challenge you should care, because this was almost a perfect movie. They had the ingredients to make something that could really withstand test of time. And I worry we're all distracted by the moments of the fan service that when you step back, and actually stare at the movie as a whole, it's not a perfect movie. It's got a lot of flaws, a lot of logic jumps, and we're going to get there. But Peter Parker, again, stupid. Also, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange completely underestimates Peter, and I guess that's justified because he even says, look, I always forget you're young. Okay, fine. But still, how did Peter Parker beat him? Oh, I know math, so I'll just change the mirror diverse, and I'll leave Doctor Strange without his ring hanging over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours, and then Ned will figure out magic that brings him back. I get it. We had to open up and bring everybody back, but I feel like that was another just like, as Drew Skizzy, they nerfed Happy Heavy. They nerfed that too. They nerfed the sort of Doctor Strange thing. And there was so much of that where you're just like, come on, these characters are better than this at this point. We couldn't and I'll never forget it. The Russo brothers, man, to their credit, and I'm going to give myself credit in this video because I called the scoop. And the Russo brothers called us out. They tried to honest trailer proof Winter Soldier. And there's a reason why that movie holds up so well. Because that script was tight, was great, real twists, real drama, real edge. Winter Soldier still is like such a fantastic movie back in the heyday where they were sort of letting people experiment and they had more time. They weren't overstretched doing all these multiple Marvel shows and movies, and how are all these things going to line up? I really worry they're overextending themselves. We're oversaturated, and I think because of that, they rushed this along. And we didn't get the extra few days, weeks, whatever they needed to fine-tune that script to fix some of these just stupid, lazy plot holes and writing issues that could have really tightened up these characters, the reasons, honest trailer-proof the movie to make it that much better. And that was my real instinct when I left the first time of, guys, this movie has a lot of problems, and I'm going to continue. Now, all that said, I don't want to just keep being a killjoy. There are moments in this film still, like, seeing those three Spider-Men together was freaking awesome. I loved it. I fanboyed on especially when the crowd. It gave me my own Peter tingles. It was beautiful. It was so fun to see them. I loved the camaraderie of those two together. The hugs, the making the back, the point moment was a little silly, but hey, they did it. I applauded them for trying. There was a lot of stuff there that worked. Jim, you just called out. There was some funny jokes too. Aunt May's saltwater joke was legitimately funny. So was the what was it when Andrew Garfield's like, are you going to look like a youth pastor, or did you bring your suit? I think that was my favorite joke in the whole movie. Kudos to Andrew Garfield pulling that one out because he did look like some youth pastor walking around the whole time. There were some really biting lines too. So look, the movie's fun. It has those elements. But all right, now back to some negatives. The Aunt May thing was good. I feel that worked. I liked the great power with great responsibility. I liked how it connected and brought the Spider-Men together. All that worked. That scene on the rooftop with the Spider-Men, it did feel a little disjointed only because it felt like Lewis said this, so credit to him, but I agree with him. It felt like Justice Snyder cut, like at the ending scene where they clearly were filming a bunch of actors who weren't there at the same time, trying to make that emotional moment together with CGI Spider-Men. And I just wanted to see some of those. I wanted to see some physical suit stuff. I wanted to see some better interaction. And some of that stuff just felt like, I don't know if that's the director's fault per se, but it feels like just a quality issue that I just noticed again the second time. that I wish there could have been a little bit more of like, I'm going to have to stand over here because I'm not there with Andrew, and I'm going to have to stand over here because I'm not there with Toby, whether it was for security reasons or whatever. There were some vibes there that took away, I think, what that scene could have been even better with another director's arms. Not to knock John Watts. I think he did a fine job. I just don't think he's as experienced, and I think a more qualified director could have taken this even better. Now that said, their interactions are great. This film does has a couple moments that really disappointed me in that it's like cardinal rules of movies. You can't set something up and then not give it to us. And my biggest problem was that trailer scene of Doctor Strange, who's sitting there, he's freaking out, right? I can't hold them all back. Like, when you do something like that in a movie, we, the audience, are like, oh, damn, that's coming. Oh, crap, who's going to come through the portals? And then they didn't have anybody come through the portals. I mean, you can't tease us and get us excited about weird ghost guys with spears who know Peter Parker and then be like, nope, we're just going to do a weird spell that just makes them all go away and now everything's back to normal. It was a real kind of a letdown moment where I'm like, come on, wait, what? Also, just like the whole spell in general. We knew that was a problem when we saw the trailers when they're like, he's messing up the spell and that's what creates the multiverse. Okay, well now anybody who knew Peter Parker in any universe shows up. Well, then why didn't we get some other characters? And then some of them were dead, some of them weren't dead. It was a very confusing rule. And I'm able to turn my brain off on that one. I am, because, okay, I understand how they wanted to bring those things in there. However, it's really silly. The rules of it make no sense. Okay, so that's the one I'm like, all right, fine, I'll let that go. But we had Ned learning magic. How did that make sense? Like, Doctor Strange, really? All that training, everything did, but now Ned has some magic in his family, so it's like the Flash when they bring in all the speedsters, and you're like, oh my God, really? Everybody just is a speedster? I don't like twists like that in these movies. It's lazy writing, in my opinion, just to connect the characters that you love. I didn't love Ned in this. Ned's an annoying character for me personally. Sorry. But I didn't like that for the whole, as cool as it was to see those openings of Toby and Andrew, with Ned doing it, it was weird. And then Ned's mom, there was some weird energy in some of that stuff. And the spells, I don't follow any of the spells. All right, but fine. I'm going to give it a pass because I'm like, great. You do sometimes have to turn off your brain. Okay, fine. They justified these. Peter Parkers came in. The worst offense was the final spell. And I think I'm going to do a whole video on it because I've been keeping a list of all the things. And that was another reason why my first viewing, I was like, oh, what? I was so confused by the rules and what the ramifications are of Peter saying, well, what if everyone forgets me? Guys, think about it and process it for a second. And if anybody else has problems with this plot or whole plot holes, send it my way because I may do a fun little standalone video to call some of the stuff out. But how on earth does that make any sense? Now, they didn't just reverse the spell. Like, it wasn't like nobody knows who Spider-Man is. No, they don't know who Peter Parker is. So then suddenly Ned and MJ don't know who he is. Nobody knows who he is. Okay, but then Aunt May, who's dead, still knew Happy and knew him because of Spider-Man. So Happy was dating Aunt May because of Spider-Man and never knew that Spider-Man was his identity. When in reality, if no one knew who Peter Parker was, even Aunt May wouldn't have known who Spider-Man was. Like, think about it for a second. It gives me a headache to try and justify, well, wait a second. If they don't know who Peter Parker is, why would Happy be at that gravesite with Aunt May? Why would he know who Aunt May is? What? And then you start questioning, well, then are the events in Civil War? Did they happen? Did the events in Endgame and Infinity War happen? They just had it with a Spider-Man character. So did Tony Stark know because he was dead? So therefore he did know who Peter Parker was? But then wasn't Doc Ock and Green Goblin dead? It makes no sense. It's like my head is like a pretzel as I try to figure out, well, who knows why and what? So the whole Avengers with Spider-Man, Peter Parker, it's all done? It's all erased? Like that stuff was all just fake? Like, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And it's really frustrating the more I thought about it because I'm like, well, shit. I like this idea of him in the new suit. I like this, that could be interesting. But now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a huge comics guy, but I did read Civil War, and Spider-Man releases his identity in that. And I believe Doctor Strange does do a spell for people to forget his identity. But I don't think he made it so they forgot Peter Parker. This idea that he went so extreme to say, oh, well, we forget Peter Parker, the ramifications of that are still going to... There's so much going on there that I'm like, what? So that ending, I challenge anyone to come explain it to me clearly, because I don't think any of us can yet. I think everyone's still trying to speculate on it. That ending makes no sense. Joshua's like, it's honestly not that difficult to understand. Okay, Joshua, please tell me how happy new Spider-Man, when Aunt May wouldn't have known Spider-Man because her son, Peter Parker, was Spider-Man, but doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man and forgot Peter Parker was. How does that make sense? And then all the Avengers just didn't know who Peter Parker was, but they knew Spider-Man? So Spider-Man's out there just like with a, hey, it's me, Spider-Man. You don't know who I am. I'm just a random guy. Okay, bye. Okay, maybe. But then you're telling me his own mom now just doesn't, or did, because she's dead. Joshua, don't tell me it's so easy to understand. Dude, come on, don't be a pompous asshole. Joshua, it's complicated, and there's a lot, and then there's more. I could bring out even more theories as to, okay, well, if you're going to remove Peter Parker, if Peter Parker doesn't exist, as a friend, my buddy Eben we were talking about this, and he brought up, what does that mean? Then the magic spell, which can't move time, suddenly reversed all the YouTube videos and photos and everything that printed Peter Parker? So it was like a time reversal spell. It's not just a mask spell. It's anything where Peter Parker is on YouTube, in yearbooks, in anywhere. All of those physical items also just forgot, right? Those physical items forgot, Joshua? Please elaborate with me. Please elaborate with me, Joshua, because it doesn't make any sense. I implore that it doesn't make any sense. And I'll break down more of those theories. I'm going to write out some of that stuff because it doesn't make any sense. Now, they'll probably try to justify how it makes sense through magic. That's what I think they'll do, but we shall see. But it's a really frustrating thing. Nerd Report just said it. Are all those videos of Peter Parker being exposed deleted? Is that what happened? Thank you for that first super chat, Lewis. Facts. Doctor Strange's spell can't go and change time, but he can change people's memory. Okay. Memories aren't YouTube videos. Memories aren't physical items. If we really want to get nerdy and get deep into it and turn our brains back on, I implore you, it doesn't make any sense. So there's a lot of that just sort of is hung up in my head of like, well, wait, what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. But again, go back, still, a lot of it was so much damn fun. So much more damn fun seeing those characters together. It was very exciting. However, I'm frustrated at some of those sort of choices, spells, and real long things affecting the forgetting him, etc. Did they need all that? Did they need to keep making it more complicated? I don't think so. The film was about sort of reuniting all these Spider-Man, and I see a lot of you in the comments. This is the best one, hands down, best superhero movie ever. The only reason you're saying that also is because you're clearly fans of all the Spider-Man movies, and I'm assuming, you liked that they brought it all back. And to be fair, if you make this movie as a, finale to a long TV show, then yes, I hear you. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, this is a great finale for all of us who've been paying attention and watching Sam Raimi's films, Mark Webb's films, all the MCU films. This was the ultimate cultivation of all of them coming together. And yes, in that way, it's great. But as a standalone movie, someone going to this movie, watching it without any idea who those people are, the previous Marvel movies, et cetera, this movie's a mess. This movie's a hodgepodge of magicians doing spells and random people coming back that we don't even have much backstory on, talking about people they remembered. Like, the movie does not hold up well as its own standalone piece. So it's hard for me to say, is this the best comic book movie ever? It's fun. It's one of the funnest, bringing those people together. However, I do think, it's just there's problems. Is what I'm trying to get at. It's problems. It's a fun movie. And again, those of you just tuning in now, I was glowing and ranting and raving about. I was so impressed with Andrew Garfield's performance. He really stole the show for me, in my opinion. As someone who wasn't a fan, he was great. Seeing Tobey Maguire come back, holy moly. He's always been my Spider-Man. It was so cool to see him. He was so calm and collected, more mature. Seeing that version got me emotional. And then Tom Holland stepped it up. And it really was his best performance, and I think his best opportunity to shine. So those three coming together to solve this problem was great. However, this weird all cure-all nonsense. Yeah, we're on this. We just cured all the Spider-Man villains in 10 minutes. Woo, we got all. Yeah, I'll crack this one. I'll make this smoke. I'll make this thing. Yeah, okay. We just randomly cured Sandman. We just randomly stopped the lizard. I mean, guys, it's so silly. And you have to stop thinking about that stuff to enjoy this movie. Now, all that said, Willem Dafoe, I didn't get to some of these villains. Willem Dafoe gives a fantastic performance. He's so menacing. I loved him coming back. Alfred Molina stepped it up as well. Those two were always my favorite Spider-Man villains. Having them come back and be together was really fun. And I did like Alfred Molina sort of getting his chip replaced and doing the switch at the end and being helpful was nice. But again, the movie in itself does another problem I have, which is the MCU will not allow actual evil villains. They have to make every one of their villains turn into an anti-hero who's misunderstood. And it was very interesting to see the MCU bring all these Sony Spider-Man villains in and literally be like, we have the MCU anti-hero cure. You're all actually misunderstood. You're all solvable. Yeah, we like all you murderers. You guys are good people. It was very weird to see them have to resort to that. That said, it was nice to see the Spider-Man agree, because that is how a Spider-Man should be. They want to help save people, not murder people. They've all had their dark moments. With great power comes great responsibility, and they've all been learning that through their own various ways. And it was really interesting and fun to see the film connect and be like, yeah, we're Spider-Man from all these different universes, but we all still have these same similarities. We all still have this struggle, and we all have been on the same journey. So in that regard, again, even though I have been nitpicking and complaining as well, I can't ignore that part of it. And so I understand why so many of you, myself included, are like, all right, that was really fun. That was a really fun movie. It was so fun to see them. Charlie Cox again, so much stuff like that. There was so much there that really was a beautiful payoff. I do think, which payoff's better, this one or Endgame? This one was like much harder to believe, because who would have thought we would have ever gotten these three back together to do that? I mean, because Tobey Maguire is so checked out. He hasn't even made movies. And then you got Andrew Garfield, who just was people were just so rude and hated him, and he got so just sort of shrugged to the corner. I never would have thought they could actually pull these guys together. So when I got that scoop, which, let's not forget, guys, I broke the scoop. Don't let Grace or others try, or can't be all these people try and steal it. No. I broke that scoop. I wrote it on Phantom Wire. That was my scoop, my scoopster. And I'm so grateful to my scoopster. We'll celebrate. I might do a video on Popcorn Planet celebrating as well, too, and some other information I have. But that we got to celebrate that. And thank you, Vitaly, for throwing out the thumbs up for reminding that we did that. I lost my train of thought because I was praising myself, because I'm happy we got that scoop right. Which is better. It was hard to believe when I got that scoop, because I'm like, really? Wow. I mean, everyone always wanted and assumed maybe that would happen. And Into the Spider-Verse, which to me is still my favorite Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse was supposed to have Peter Parker be Tobey Maguire's voice and like animated like him. And Sony was like, no, we're going to save him. And I do think that Into the Spider-Verse, as a script and everything else, far better film. Far better written film, emotional. It's a better made movie. Now, No Way Home, way better fan service, moments we've been waiting for that we thought were impossible. So, Endgame, though, however, was just the ending of all of them combining. Everybody combining in that big final battle that we've been waiting for so long. All these, so many characters that we've been rooting for. The perfect sort of ending. I still think I liked Endgame more. It was longer, more satisfying. So many moments with Cap and the shield, and there were some significant moments in that. Whereas in this fight, as cool as it was to see them together, there really was one moment where three of them jumped off the roof, which did look a little CGI to me. Still was fun, but it felt like I was watching an animated movie. I wasn't seeing those three together. Like, can we not get stuntmen to jump off the roof in the outfits to make it seem real? But then when they jumped in that Statue of Liberty together, like, yeah, that was the shot. That was the money shot. And then the three of them going after, because clearly we all knew in that trailer shot that there was three of them there, and they just digitally erased the other two. The more you look at it all, you realize this is really a cartoon. Like, the majority of that movie was all cartoon. There was some bad green screening happening in this movie. Sorry, but there was. And some of that stuff took it away from me. Endgame felt a little bit more like it just, even though there were some crazy, stupid scenes in it too, Anyway, I think I like Endgame still slightly more, but this is right up there. Those two, and Civil War's airport scene when we finally get a Spider-Man showing up and they're all fighting. I can't not put Civil War airport scene in that trifecta of moments in a cinema. Black Panther, they're all fighting each other. That scene's badass. So those three are still probably that Endgame finale, Civil War, and then the No Way Home. 3 Spider-Men uniting are definitely my 3 sort of most iconic action Marvel scenes, without a doubt. I'll have to think more to see how I rate them. But overall, like I said, I did really enjoy the film. It is a positive review for me, but I do think some of us guys, I think we're drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much. This film has its problems. This film, if you actually turn your brain back on, there's a lot of stuff that they could have done better and fixed, and I'm sad they didn't. I wish Marvel right now wasn't so oversaturated and so many storylines. I mean, we got the fantasy world and Shang-Chi, the fantasy universe there. We got the time police world. We got the multiverse with Scarlet Witch and WandaVision, and my God, I'm losing track of it all. We got X-Men coming up, I guess. We got so much stuff all brewing around in these multiple different areas. It's a lot to keep track of. And I just worry they're losing focus because they can't take a moment to actually think through, does all this make sense? As I said in the beginning of this review, I wish they would have honest trailer proof this movie a bit more. It wouldn't have been that hard to take another few passes at the script and be like, all right, give us another month. Let us make sure we really fine tune this, because this one really is important and it matters. And it did feel like, there were some moments there that they could have made better. Now, but as Patrick Quill, thank you, Patrick Quill, for your super chat. It's incredible. On Movie World with super chats, we're bringing movies back. Andy's bringing movie backs here, talking movies again here. But Patrick said, my crowd was clapping and cheering. It was a dope movie, without a doubt. And I'm going to share my reaction, my crowd reaction. I recorded it, the crowd, not the screen, because that'd be illegal. I filmed my crowd because it was so incredible. And if you get the chance, go do it again. This moment in a crowd experience with a movie is rare. We don't get it very often. Go this weekend if you can get an extra ticket. I know it's sold out mostly everywhere. Go support the movies. It was so nice and refreshing to see the movie theater back in action again. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, it's like we're back to normal. Everyone's out there back sitting and watching the movies again. And it felt so good. And yes, this movie was so much fun. I had my problems with it, but overall, after I watched my second viewing, I have come around. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I am going to give it an 8 out of 10. I gave it like a 6.5 or a 7 on my first viewing. As I sat with it, digested it, watched it again, sat with it again. It sat well with me. I have major issues with it, but it's hard to deny the fan service. So as a fan, I'm going to admit it. I'm overrating it definitely because the fan service was tremendously fun. Stuff I never thought we'd see together. It was a lot of fun. And the clapping experience really made it a movie experience to remember. So there you go. If anybody has any final thoughts, send them over real quick. So Civil War was boring, also Endgame. Well, why are you here then? Why are you watching movies like this? The Civil War airport scene was not boring. Now, there were parts in that movie I had problems with, but an Endgame, it's overly long, but it was the finale, which we wanted. The time travel stuff was a little silly. I'm not going to deny it. But the finale, when they all show up, the portals, and the music kicks in, and Chris Evans gets back up, I can go all day, and you think it's over. Oh, and then you hear, I'm on your left. Ah, goosebumps again. Yeah, Endgame's better. The Endgame finale is still better. So much payoff and well-written stuff that was like, it all came to that. It all came to that. I don't know how Marvel's ever going to top that. This was the closest they've gotten, without a doubt, but they could have written that sequence better. It was just them sort of CGI jumping around, trying to get the cures together. It's good. It's good. I said 8 out of 10, but Endgame's finale was a 10 out of 10. The movie, maybe not, but the ending, the Endgame, 10 out of 10. So I wish they would have given a little more energy in the script, not been as lazy getting it out there, and really given us what could have been, what I think would have been one of the most perfect movies for most of us. Even though it seems like most of you really don't care what I think, and others, you had a blast, and that is so great. I'm so happy you did. And yes, Daredevil cameo was amazing. I agree. Although I said it in the beginning, Happy didn't think that was weird. Happy's supposed to think that's weird. Happy's supposed to pay attention to this stuff. They dumbed down Happy. They dumbed down Peter Parker. Why do you let what my buddy called it, these murderous 5 into his house for a slumber party where Aunt May is? It made no sense. Doctor Strange, what? You let Peter Parker and Ned best you? Come on. I hate when they make the characters that dumb. But all that said, my God, wasn't it fun to see those three together? And bravo, Andrew Garfield. Touche, sir. I stand corrected. You are back in the echelon. I know a lot of people liked you. I didn't. I apologize. I see you now. Good job, Andrew Garfield. And Tom Holland, way to go. That Aunt May scene with him, there were a few moments Tom Holland really impressed me as an actor. So again, a lot of high marks here, a lot of worthy stuff here. It is a very fun movie. It is slightly overhyped. I think we all will, next year, after some time passes, we will look at some of the issues, that, especially its ending and the plot logic, and we're going to be like, well, wait, that didn't make any sense. But wait, wasn't it cool seeing Spider-Man all swing together? I think that's the best way to sum up this movie. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on Movie World. I'm going to try and do more live feeds, more movie content. We'll be live more often. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for me. Hit the bell. To answer the question I put in the title, is this the best Spider-Man movie ever? Oh, it's such a loaded question because in a way it is. In a way it is because it's the end game of all Spider-Man movie. It's the one we never thought we were going to get that wraps up all those storylines. So as a finale to the entire story, yes. As a standalone Spider-Man movie, no. I would argue Homecoming's better. I would argue the Sam Raimi 1 and 2 are better. And I would argue, personally for me, Into the Spider-Verse is still the best of all of them. Because that one just really hit me. It still hits me. It's so beautifully done. The script is so tight. The actors are so strong. And I think that's just personally my favorite one. It has the most the spirit, and then the opening up the universe. It's really, really, really well done. So there you go. It's close. It's the best in some ways, but not always in all the others for me. Where does it line up on your ranking? Tell me in the comments as you're watching right now. Put them out your ranking. Hit me up on Twitter if you haven't already at Andy Signor. And like I said, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell here to Movie World. Smash the like button. Leave your comments down below to help the engagement. We're going to do probably another movie talk live maybe there, and I'm going to probably do something on Popcorn Planet, so join us there too if you haven't already. Someone asked about the end credit scenes. Thank you. Before I go, here, end credit scene. The Venom one really upset me. The Venom one upset me because when I saw him there and he was learning about the MCU, I was like, all right, cool. This is good. But then I realized, oh no. And then they did it. They made him disappear. And I was like, and the second audience I saw it with actually booed. Because they were like, wait, no, don't leave. And he left. And then they cut to the goo being there, and I'm like, okay. And then some people were really excited about that. But I just thought, that's a cheap way to get Venom into the MCU. So it got Venom introduced to, so for explaining to a noob who's getting into this, oh yeah, that's Venom. His goo got dropped in because Peter Parker made a spell wrong with Doctor Strange, and then they had the multiverse almost open, and then in order to close it, Doctor Strange had to make everyone forget that Peter Parker existed. Even though Venom never knew who Peter Parker was, he somehow showed up too, and was at a bar drinking while he was getting all the information, but then they fixed it and he went home, but some of his symbiote didn't go back for some weird reason, and that's what stayed and became Venom, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's so stupid. It's so stupid. Sorry. They could have had him figure out another way to get him in there. There were so many ways to connect the shows they're doing, but it seems like they're still like trying to keep everything separate, and it was very weird. And that's my next point on the finale post credit with the teaser trailer. I was kind of disappointed that this movie didn't like. I would have been fine with everything splitting open, and there have been ramifications that weren't solved in that movie that they needed to sort out in part 2, Multiverse of Madness. To me, that would have been a much wiser move. It was very weird that we contained it all. We solved the problem. Peter Parker's now has his issue, but we all move on. And then we're like, well, now he's got to go find the multiverse with Wanda, and then Wanda hasn't caused it. I'm just like, you solved the multiverse problem, but now apparently you didn't. And I thought it looked kind of boring, if I'm being honest. I think I'm kind of I was really excited for Multiverse of Madness. I know some major spoilers for Multiverse of Madness. They're out there too. But I can confirm there are some spoilers out there of cameos, more cameo reliance, and I think that movie's going to turn into a big cameo machine. And sadly, I don't think it's going to be as fun as Spider-Man was, and now I'm a little worried about it. So I didn't love the final teaser, and I didn't love the Venom moment either because I just thought it was a cop out. So those two post credits were actually disappointing for me. To answer your question. Yeah, and then people are coming in and asking, so no one knows who Peter is at all? I'm going to make another video on that. I'm going to break down my thoughts on that. We'll talk more about it. But there you go. Thank you guys for tuning in here on Movie World. I appreciate all you guys. Going to clip this just so we can get this out there. I appreciate all you guys. Please, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. We'll be back with more movie content. This is Movie World, the place where we only talk movies. Appreciate all you guys. Again, tell me your rankings in the comments down below. What did you think? What is the best Spider-Man movie? I want to see it all. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy your weekends, everybody.